I'm checking right now. Hi, Raquel.
Hi, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you today?
Doing well.
You glowing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you looking beautiful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
What's the best part of your day today?
Waking up.
Waking up, ready to take on the world, huh?
Yes.
I love that. Uh, Janae, I'm going to double check. I wrote you down to Blue Skies Consultants. I'm going to check the spam and see if it went there. The beginning of the year is when I took on this role, so maybe it got lost in that transition, but I'm gonna check back in with you. I want to say hi to Miss Raquel, and I want to say thank you for taking this moment to have live office hours with us at CoBiz, where we provide entrepreneurs and businesses platforms and space, both in person and virtually. Anyone looking for space or anything, visit cobizrichmond.com. Visit the website. Check out. You can book a room from there, or you can send an interest form for either the main space or the small space. And you can DM us, reach out to us if you want to collaborate or connect on anything. But right now, it's about Raquel. Raquel, can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Okay, thank you for having me today. I'm Raquel Every, and I am an accountant. I have been in business for about 5 years doing bookkeeping, taxes, and tax strategy. I have over 30 years of experience in accounting and finance in the corporate world, as well as nonprofit and government sectors. And my passion is helping small business owners keep their books together.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. So, where did that passion come from?
Well, I've always loved numbers. Math was my favorite subject in school, always. However, bookkeeping is not really that deep in terms of the numbers being challenging. But what it does is it paints a picture of your financial story and tells about what's going on with your business. So the passion came from me, years ago, struggling with finance, my own personal finances, and I'm like, hey, I'm an accountant. What are you doing? So, so, so I got more serious about my own personal finances, and from that became the passion to want to help other people. Even though I mainly focus on small business owners, I'm also available to help people with their personal finances as well. But that's where the passion came from, wanting to help small business owners keep their books together, because I just find that it's so often not being done. And so, and it's a gift of mine, and I like to share that gift with the small business owners.
I love that. I love people like that, and I love businesses like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Our missions are always rooted in just people helping other people.
right.
You know what I
Service,
mean? Yeah.
yes, service to others, yes.
Okay, so let's start from scratch. Let's start from the beginning. Can you tell us what bookkeeping is? I love how you said it's not that deep. I love that part because
Yeah, not that deep. What it is, it's accounting for your income and your outflow. So you have your revenue, which is money that you've earned, and you want that to be accounted for properly. I mainly help people in the service industry, but for a restaurant, you have different forms of revenue, from your alcohol or liquor sales versus your food sales. And so those items need to be categorized properly. And then on the expense side, you might have your rent, lease, your office expenses, your office supplies, cell phone, all the different deductions that are allowed by the IRS need to be categorized properly, so that when it is time to file your taxes, you can optimize on the and maximize on the optimum tax savings. And that comes through deductions. And a lot of times people don't know what they can and cannot write off. And so that's something a bookkeeper as well is able to help with.
I love that so much. What do, because we just think numbers and taxes and you know we when we think of bookkeeping, that's what we think. Could you let us know what do we misunderstand the most about bookkeeping? What's the misconception?
The misconception about bookkeeping is that I think number one, you can do it yourself, and you can if you know what you're doing. And the other thing is that it's not as important. People seem to focus on tax and compliance as they should, but you can't have a tax return without proper bookkeeping. With bookkeeping, it produces a profit and loss statement monthly, as well as a balance sheet. And those two reports, as well as a cash flow statement, those are your three main reports that let you know your entire financial picture. So it's misunderstood that it's just a task at the time of tax season. No, it's something that you should be monitoring monthly at the minimum so that you can have something to produce when it's time for your taxes to be done.
Love that. Could you tell us the difference between an accountant, a bookkeeping, and there's this term CPA?
Okay. So bookkeeper is what I like to do, which I like to do bookkeeping. However, I am an accountant. I'm a degreed accountant. I have my master's degree in accounting. So typically, a bookkeeper is the person that's going to keep your books organize, categorize. There's something we call a monthly reconciliation. What that does is it lets you know what is in the bank account should match what's in your books. So just think of the bookkeeper as a person that's keeping everything organized on a day-to-day basis. An accountant is more of a person who's going to do more analysis, more strategy. They may help you do your budget. They may help you do analysis between your actual, what you're actually have done versus what you have budgeted to do. And they also may help with some tax strategy. And of course, they can do anything a bookkeeper can do. And then you have your CPA, which is Certified Public Accountant. It's licensed by the state, whichever state which you're living in. They can represent you in front of the IRS if you have um, problems with that. They can handle more complicated tax situations. They are big on tax strategy, tax planning, and that's a lot of times people need that piece because they want to know. Remember it was a big thing. They want to write off the 6 pound G wagon and all the things. But that doesn't always apply to each person. So that's where the tax strategy comes in. That's something I can also help with, but that's something that certified public accountants typically will help you with.
Okay. Would
And
you
they
say?
also, oh, go ahead.
No, I want to hear you say it.
Also, audits. A certified public accountant can sign off on audits and reviews. Someone they always, people have come to me like, "Oh, you're a CPA." No, I'm a bookkeeper, and this is what I do. Now, I can help you do some things that a CPA can do, but something like an audit or a review, where a certified public accountant has to sign off on, that's something I cannot do, and that's when you would need a CPA.
Got you. Would you say CPA is like a lawyer or similar to?
Yeah, you would say that exactly. Yeah, and they're typically working in corporate. Although there's tons of CPAs who are entrepreneurs as well, but it's something that's very valuable in the corporate when you have the public company. But yes, you could look at it like a lawyer. Yes,
Okay. One thing that you mentioned, you was like, I became a bookkeeper because my your books wasn't right one time. Is that what you said?
right. Or I wasn't doing good bookkeeping for my own self, and knowing that I know better.
Can you tell us what that looked like? Is it just like letting things stack up?
To me it's scattered in the brain because now everything is electronic. It used to be, back in the day you get mail, so that would probably look like a big stack of mail that you didn't open up. And
Got
so nowadays, maybe it might be a bunch of emails that you don't open up. But for me, it's scattered in my brain if I don't have it in an organized way. I don't know how much can I spend on groceries this week if I don't know, what's coming in, when is it going out, your different due dates. You want to account for every single day. And I used to do it every single day when I got fed up with myself. Just because I didn't want to miss anything. I put myself on a budget, and business owners should do the same thing, because when it's up here, it needs to get down on paper. You need to know exactly what you're expecting to come in, what you're expecting to go out, and it helps you to make good financial decisions based on those facts.
I like that. What would you say is one of the biggest financial mistakes business owners make?
Co-mingling funds. What that means is say you just say you have a checking account, you have a savings account, you decided, hey, I'm going to open up a business. Well, then you start putting your business income into that account. You start paying expenses. That's a no-no. You need an absolute separate account, checking account at the minimum for your business. You might want to go ahead and get a savings. You might also want to go ahead and get a credit card account, because when you have credit card, this is I'm deviating a little bit. When the credit is in your business, that's your business separate from your finances, and so that's another strategy. But at the minimum, but the main thing where I see people is where they commingle funds. So then I don't know. You went to Chick-fil-A. Did you take a client to Chick-fil-A? You just took your family out for Chick-fil-A. So especially meals get very clouded when you don't make it clear. You went to Costco.
Mm,
Costco could be for personal. Costco could be for business. So if you just organize yourself in your account, in your checking account. And that's the other thing. That's where it happens. In your checking account is where it happens. That's where I see where you got money in, and when you got money out. If it's all your business, it's clear. It's clear bookkeeping, it's clean. You don't ask you, you went here, did you, and sometimes you make a mistake and you pull out the wrong card. That happens. But you want to keep everything separate. A lot of people are wanting to do the whole points game. And so they're wanting to put as much on this credit card, but it just makes for a bookkeeping accounting mess. You need to have everything in one account. Everything for business, personal is separate.
I see. I see how that could be super confusing when you're trying to like you have really got to go through each line to
Right, right, right.
to
And then
sell.
it decreases your credibility with the IRS. Say you get audited, how can they trust that this is all for business? If you're mismatching, you're paying your mortgage out you got to keep it separate.
Got you, got you.
Hmm.
So, at what point would you say a business should hire a bookkeeper?
I would say, um, so once it becomes too overwhelming for the person to keep track of. So say you start your business and you tracking things on an Excel spreadsheet and you're able to handle it. You know where your money is. You reconciled your accounts. You're able to do those things on your own, and you're not overwhelmed. But when it becomes overwhelming, or you feel confused, or you don't really know what you're doing, you've been using Excel, now you're going to be using QuickBooks online, and you don't really know how QuickBooks work. People think that they can do the work of a bookkeeper, but very rarely is that the case that I found. If you don't have an accounting background, sure, you can pick it up and you can learn it. And I'm even willing to help um, people teach people how to do bookkeeping, because I do think it's something that you could benefit knowing on your own. And when your business is small enough, you can manage it without having you maybe you can't afford a bookkeeper. So basically, when you have no longer are able to keep your books in line and reconcile each and every month, you know where your money is going. When that starts to get overwhelmed and you can't answer those questions, you don't know if it's done or not, then you need to get a bookkeeper. And when you can afford a bookkeeper, because it is a monthly fee, or sometimes it could be quarterly, and sometimes I offer packages. It just depends. But a lot of times, I'm not sure what the conception is that people think bookkeeper, they don't really find the value, it seems. And when the reason why I say that is because if they thought it was valuable, they wouldn't mind paying for it. And so a lot of times people they're making the money, but they don't see where the value is. But I have been able to help small business owners who are willing to pay to see the value in having your books reconciled and cleaned each and every month.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'm here at Cobiz,
Mhm.
and I just turned the light on. And as I was coming to this interview with you, I told someone that I was meeting with you.
Okay.
And the first thing that she said, she was like, my question is, what do I do if I'm a small business? I need a bookkeeper, but can't afford a bookkeeper.
Right. So, like I mentioned, they can contact me, and I can help them learn how to do it. not for free, at an hourly fee that we could agree upon, and it wouldn't take a long time. But I mean, and another thing I recommend to small owner, take a business class. Because I've met people who they're talking about sales taxes, but they're coming to me as if they're talking about their personal tax, as if they don't even know the difference between the two. And that's another tax compliance that you have to keep up with if you're a business owner and you're selling goods. You have to, for resale, you have to get a seller's permit, and you have to do sales use tax returns each and every month. So that's something else that you need to be aware of. So I say take a business class and then reach out to a professional who can maybe help you or advise you on, you could do this much until you scale to this much, and then you might need to have another person. But you're going to have to sacrifice and pay something to learn something.
I love that. I love that you even offered that option. It's like hire me as a bookkeeper. If you can't afford it at this moment, there is hourly rates that we can do in order to help you. That is amazing.
Yeah, because a lot of people are really good with numbers. You know what I mean? They know how to do this creative thing, but they also know how to keep track of the numbers. So it's a low learning curve. And then they can maintain their books until, like I said, until they scale and maybe it gets too much for them to handle. But ignoring your books is just should never be an option.
Yeah. And then you have the other people who, like me, I do not like numbers.
Right.
I
Right.
don't even, sometimes I don't even attempt. I'm like, it is, I'll
Yeah.
round up.
Round the way up.
Yeah, like I'll round up if it's beneficial, round down if I gotta get it. No.
Right. Right.
No, so I think like bookkeeping is something that that'll be my first choice, you know, for business.
Yes. Right.
How often, let's say, I have this business, how often should I be reviewing my books?
Monthly at the minimum.
Monthly.
Monthly. Yeah, and depending on what type of business you are, like if you're a restaurant and that's cash flow all day, every day, then that might be something that you want to check on a weekly basis. Because the thing is, mistakes happen. The bank makes mistakes. QuickBooks or the software that you use, might make a mistake. So it's good to check your books at the minimum monthly, on a monthly basis. You want to reconcile everything to make sure what's in the bank is what you would expect to be in the bank, versus your books. And so monthly at a minimum.
I like that. Can you tell us, that's probably one of the answers to this question, but what's a simple habit that can improve a company's financial health?
Uh, okay. Setting aside money to pay your
Okay.
taxes. It sounds so simple, and it is simple, but that's one area people tend to not want. So if you're getting paid throughout the year, say someone's paying you on a 1099, they're not having any taxes withheld. You get to the end of the year, your deductions, let's say you're making 100K, you're not going to have 100K in expenses, most likely. That means whatever the difference is, you have to pay taxes on the income. So
Mm,
setting aside money to pay your taxes and being mindful of your tax situation at all times, because no one likes to owe the IRS. No one likes at the end of the year to be surprised they owe a penny. They don't even want to pay a penny. They don't want to pay a dollar, So you need to set aside money to pay your taxes. And then just what's some other good things? It just also, or maybe on a weekly basis, checking your cash flow. You know, because a lot of times people are getting caught up looking at their profit and loss statement, which is good. You need to know if you're making a profit or not. However, your cash flow is telling you a different story. You might have money in the bank, but you might still be losing in your business. So you want to, on a weekly and monthly basis, be looking at your cash flow as well as your profit loss statement and your balance sheet, which doesn't get too much love, but that shows your worth. How much your assets minus your what you owe is the equity that you have in your company. So that's another financial tool. So all of those things need to be looked at on a regular basis, and just making that a habit to me can just make everything better because you know where your numbers are and you know what to expect, what you're expecting.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Do you think technology has changed bookkeeping?
Yes, it's made it easier because it's made it it's more automated. Technology has made bookkeeping more automated. So it's definitely been uh, better for the bookkeeper.
Yeah.
We're not doing the, bring your receipts in a box, or how people used to do back in the day, put them in a bag or whatever. That with technology, we don't have to worry about that. QuickBooks, you hear me talk about that a lot. That's a software that I prefer to use, and it has a link tool where you link your accounts, your checking accounts, your credit cards, and so that makes life really a lot easier on the bookkeeper with that automation.
Do you think AI could replace bookkeeping?
I don't, because you need the human element to check for accuracy. AI is already in the bookkeeping world in terms of it can do simple categorization, it could do simple bank reconciliations. But then when you have that error, which happens a lot, and then the accuracy feature, AI is not, somebody's going to always need to check AI in terms of numbers when it comes to bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Melanin Unlimited, Shani. She says she loves QuickBooks.
Me too. Yes.
See, I'm gonna have to book you, Raquel, hourly so you can help me because
Absolutely.
no, I need you to actually just handle the bookkeeping for me. And as far as bookkeeping and the services, do the prices change? Is it one particular price? How does
Yeah,
that work?
it varies. It basically comes down to complexity, how many accounts you have. Some people, I have a client that has 5 accounts. So it goes by how many accounts you have. That means checking, savings, or credit card accounts, and then how many transactions you have. So the less transactions, the less the cost.
Mm,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And I personally try to work with people as best I can because I know how important that it is. And so, I try to tailor it best I can, but not for free. But I try to work with people.
I like that because if we are a small business, that means we will have less transactions. So
True.
that the price, it'll be less.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so that I feel like that's important. Is there any expenses that businesses forget to track?
Yeah, a common one is subscriptions, automatic subscriptions. Because sometimes, I mean, even myself personally, it's like, say when you didn't have a business, everything's going through your one checking account that you have for your personal, and then those are now business expenses and you haven't remembered to link them with your business account. So subscriptions and small recurring charges are typically, a lot of business owners miss those. So it's kind of, and you have to just spend the time, like, and once you spend the time early on, you don't have to keep going back and revisit. So let's say take this month and, like, okay, let me, across all my accounts, make sure that all my business expenses are linked to my business account, because
Yeah.
otherwise you're missing out on that deduction.
Mm.
So you want to, yeah, so that's, yeah, subscriptions and monthly, small monthly recurring charges.
Okay,
And
okay.
then other things that they just don't know. So, because each industry has their own things that apply for deductions. Like I'm a bookkeeper, so certain things apply to me as a bookkeeper. Deductions for a bookkeeper. Other could be a real estate agent or developer. Their expenses, their customary expenses would be different than mine. And then another one is meals. Because people tend to, like, another thing, like they might tend to pull out their personal card and you're out on a business, out
Mm.
with the client for business, and so you want to remember to put those meals onto
Yeah.
your business credit card or checking account.
Okay. So we have another question. This is from Melanin Unlimited CEO is Shawnee Bennett. She says, "Do you use QB online or regular QuickBooks?"
Okay, I think she's referring to desktop. I use QuickBooks Online, and I entered when it was more popular, so I've seen desktop. People love it, I hear, and a lot of people that have it don't want to switch, even though QuickBooks is kind of forcing folks to switch. So I primarily only use QuickBooks Online.
Okay. And what is the difference between those two?
So online, it's a cloud versus desktop, and it's per user for the desktop. Like back in the day when you buy a license, you had to buy a license if you wanted one user, two users, what have you. And then it also, I hear other bookkeepers say it's faster, meaning like sometimes the internet might buffer for a little bit. You got those little pauses, whereas desktop, it's not on the cloud, so you just jamming and doing all the things.
Okay,
But I
okay.
would recommend. I mean, if you have it and you love it, you can make the decision to keep it or not. But anyone entering new, I would say go with QuickBooks Online because that's what they support more.
Okay, okay. She commented, she said there is big differences between the two.
I'm not an expert on that.
Yeah, and really quick, I want to welcome Seven Kiyamo. Of course, welcome Melanin Unlimited. Welcome Tex Org, and welcome Shine Low Bet. I know he's a production company. We have a tech company. We have mental health company. We have so many companies here. If y'all have any questions for Miss Raquel today, she is an accountant. Can you shout out your business?
Sure, Sacramento Bookkeeper LLC. I could be reached on Instagram, Sacramento Bookkeeper, also on LinkedIn. My name is Raquel Every, and the business is Sacramento Bookkeeper. And my website is sacramentobookkeeper.com.
Love it, love it. So let's and Shani has used both. Shani, which one is your favorite?
Yeah.
Write that in the chat for us. For you, Raquel, we mentioned one early in the conversation, but what is one bookkeeping myth that you just want to eliminate right now? We're about to eliminate
The
this myth about bookkeeping.
myth about bookkeeping. Um, that anyone can do it, and I don't. Anyone could do the bookkeeping for me, and I don't need to pay to have it done properly.
Mm.
That's a myth. You do need a bookkeeper, and if you have one, you're going to need to pay your bookkeeper to keep your books in order. Your cousins, aunties, friend who is a CPA, you know, and they may not be a CPA, and most CPAs don't want to do bookkeeping. So, yeah, and that you don't need a bookkeeper. That I would say that's the biggest myth.
Got it,
Because
got it.
all businesses need bookkeeping. That's how businesses are profitable because they have an accounting department, making sure everything is accounted for the way it should be.
And then when you think about it, it just makes our job easier. It's something that we don't have to worry about.
Right. And a lot of times people are fearful, but and that's why I enjoy doing it because once they see the outcome, they're like, oh, I didn't realize I made that much money this quarter. Oh, I didn't really, most of the time it's positive outcomes because I find that people, they know, not everybody, but business owners usually know how to make money. That's why they're in business, so the outcome is usually positive. But if you don't know and you're not, taking the time to pay a bookkeeper or doing the bookkeeping yourself, you have absolutely no idea what your financial picture is.
And you just mentioned some of the things that we leave out, some of the things that we don't account for. So maybe that bookkeeper could find, those things and help us out, help our business.
Exactly. Yeah, things that you didn't even think of that you could be writing off.
Yeah, so we have more questions. I want to welcome Allegra. You can also find live with me and Allegra every first and third Wednesday of the month. And Allegra is a PR. She will get your business together. She has a question. She said, "What's the best bookkeeping software to use?"
So I can only give my opinion of what I like, and that's QuickBooks. And just to give you a little background, QuickBooks is for small business owners, and so I've always worked for larger corporations, and we don't, we use things like Oracle and such. And so I used to get really frustrated with QuickBooks Online. I'm like, where's this, and how are they do, because they call things a little bit different sometimes, and that's to make it user friendly for the business owner. And so I was just heavily using Excel because Excel is very robust and sometimes underestimated, and it could do. It's not QuickBooks Online, but you can make it do what I need it to do for profit and loss statements, producing a balance sheet, and that. But I have personally fell in love with QuickBooks. I find it very easy to navigate. I find it easy to make um, corrections, and I also have found why I think that it's sometimes very confusing for business owners because from my point of view, if you don't have the accounting background, I think it could tend to be a little, um, it looks more simple than it is, even though I said it's not deep, but QuickBooks, and you could easily make mistakes in QuickBooks, easily make mistakes. So, um, but like I said, with my background in accounting, I find it to be very user friendly, very easy for me to navigate. I can easily figure things out, easy to run reports, easy to produce the financial statements needed. And then it has the tools that I need, to reconcile things or to, it's easy to research things. So I prefer QuickBooks Online. I've had a client that uses Zero, and I was able to navigate again, easy enough. But my preference is QuickBooks Online, and I'm not getting paid for the advertisement.
Yeah, you're not getting paid
Yeah, that's good.
yet.
That's good.
Shani says, I initially loved desktop version.
Hmm.
She says online is more practical for today's time. She said because you can work anywhere. Would you agree
Absolutely.
with that?
Absolutely. Yeah. And so that's the thing too. Like if I capture where someone reached out not too long ago, and they had QuickBooks desktop, and I'm like, that's a logistics standpoint. It's like it's not impossible, but you're gonna have to buy another because I'm not gonna come to your office and do the work. So that's another license you perhaps would have to buy. So yeah, QuickBooks makes it super convenient. I can work anywhere, anytime, as long as they have internet.
You can do QuickBooks.
Hmm.
Quick question to answer Shani's question. You are booking. How is wraparound services working for you with Cobase?
Um, I recently got a client through that through wraparound, so it's been going pretty good, pretty good. Not a whole lot of action with it, but yeah.
Okay. So, Shani, yes, we can book Raquel for wraparound services. Anyone's watching that's a part of wraparound with CoBiz, you can definitely book Raquel. You can get how much could they get? Could they get an hour with you through wraparound?
Yeah, I believe it's an hour. Is it for a month? I don't want to misquote it, but I think
Yeah,
there's
we'll
one session per month or something like that.
yeah, we will I'll double check. It should be in the email though to everybody a part of wraparound. You can book with Raquel.
Hmm.
Melanin Unlimited will be reaching out soon.
Great. I look forward to meeting you.
Yes, and Melanin Unlimited works with CoBiz, but anyone else, please take advantage of the wraparound services.
Yeah.
So many resources just to help the business. We have
Hmm.
Raquel here. We have Allegra with PR. We have therapeutic services with wraparound, media. There's a lot of resources and a lot of benefits to the company, to your company, to your business.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm here to help.
Okay, another question, Raquel.
Hmm.
Why do us, I know why me, but from your experience, why do people avoid looking at their finances? I know even personally, there be sometimes I'll just tap my card and I'm like, I do not want to look at this bank
See, yeah,
account.
right. I think because money is tied to emotions, stress, and uncertainty. And I think it just feels overwhelming to people sometimes. Like, Because I'll have someone reach out and I'll help them. I'll get their books straight. We'll do their taxes, and then I don't hear from them again. It's like, I think it's just a fear of the unknown. But I say tap into your finances. You need to get friendly with your finances. You need to know what's going on at all times. Whether you can't yet afford to pay somebody to keep your books together, but look at your bank statement. Look at your bank statement each month. See what you got going in and see what you have going out. Yeah. So I think it's the fear of the unknown. People get overwhelmed and get stuck. I've been there before myself, so I know what that is. But it'll only get worse if you're in a bad situation. So you might as well face it. Because if you start not filing your taxes, what a lot of people are like average 3 years behind, you're gonna have the IRS. Why did you go in business if you don't want to keep your business together? It's important. So we can't be afraid of our finances, and that's also good having a bookkeeper or someone, to help you keep accountable to your finances as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's super important. And let's say I accidentally use my business card.
So
Uh,
you okay, go ahead.
no, tell
Yes,
me.
so you're out and about and you accidentally use your business card for personal.
Yes.
Then that's considered an owner distribution. So that's like you took money out of the business, whether it's $5 or $500. That gets categorized as an owner's distribution. You took money out of your business account for personal use. That's an owner's distribution or owner's draw, they like to call it as well.
Okay. And tell us about that. What is the owner distribution?
So you know how earlier I talked about the balance sheet and how it shows your worth, your owner's equity. So say you have 50,000 in equity, and then you take an owner's distribution for $500. You pay. I mean, maybe you rightfully so want to go buy yourself I don't know, a Gucci bag, and so it's the owner's distribution. So it's going to decrease your equity in your business.
Mm, got you.
They don't.
Could I put it back? Could I?
Yeah, that's the other option. You could pay. Yes, absolutely. You could pay your business back.
Okay.
Zell your money back to your business.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So what is one bookkeeping red flag?
Uh, One bookkeeping red flag. Let me think. You're not filing your taxes. Your accounts are not reconciled.
Okay.
You don't even maybe have a business account, and you're putting that's a huge red flag. Yeah. So
Okay.
to me it's simple. You're gonna start like for me. What I did, I didn't open a checking account until I got paid. Then I go open my account with the money that you got paid with. And then from there on it's up. You putting the money in, whatever expenses you might need, you take them out. You can't afford them, you don't buy them. you know if and then start to save money through your you could transfer money quarterly or monthly rather. Say you're making $10,000, $15,000 a month. Let's figure out what tax bracket you're in. Let's put that money aside and then pay your monthly, quarterly taxes at each quarter, because that's what they want to do. The IRS is not happy with you at the end of the year and you owe them more than $1,000.
Mm,
As a matter of fact, I believe it's an additional penalty. They don't. Even though you pay them on April 15th, they're happy, but it's better to pay those taxes because it's just easier, right? Isn't it easier to just pay small chunks than writing out that $10,000? You're not going to want to do that at the end of the year.
right.
And those are the things that get you in trouble, though. And a lot of people go down that route, unfortunately.
And you, as a bookkeeper, will keep us out of trouble
Yes,
because you
yes,
see the things that we don't see. You're
right,
looking for those things that we don't see. Like you are the professional.
right,
Like you
right,
might even get us money back.
right, right.
So I love what you do. Thank you for
Thank
what
you.
you do. I love why you do it too.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, that you like to see businesses prevail. Do you
right.
have any last words for the people?
Yes, don't be afraid to ask questions, whatever it is, especially with me. Don't be afraid to just whatever, because I find that people like some things that I think I probably have said things on this call. You're like, what is that? Like, to me, it's second nature because that's what I do. So if I'm saying some word, I've worked at places where they only talk in acronyms. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I don't even know if they know sometimes. But anyway, just ask questions. Don't be afraid to even just reach out, especially if it's to me, just for that. Because I always do it. If you don't have wraparound, I do an hour consult. So I could, call me and I can at least direct you. If I can't help you myself, meaning like if you're not at a point where you're ready to pay or what have you, I could give you some pointers on what you can do until you get to that point.
Mm.
Because the goal, right, is you in business to make money. So you want to pay an accountant. You want to have a CPA. You want to get there and have those people that you value that are helping you keep your business intact. If you can afford all those people, then you're doing good, right? You're making good money. You got to pay to play. So, yeah.
Yeah, so there are some people who would love to pay to play. How could they contact you?
Okay, so reach out to me, Raquel, at sacramentobookkeeper.com. You can find me here on Instagram, Sacramento Bookkeeper, LinkedIn, Raquel Every. Last name is spelled Every, like every day, Raquel Every on LinkedIn and Sacramento Bookkeeper. And my website is sacramentobookkeeper.com.
Thank you so much, Raquel.
Thank you.
I will be contacting you soon.
I look forward.
Uh, and everyone, me and Raquel will be back on live. Look for that flyer, look for that poster, and we'll see you then.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Raquel. Talk to you soon.
Have the rest of the day good.
Bye bye. Anyone need any services from Raquel, definitely reach out to her. Contact Cobez if you need space, both virtually and in person. Cobez Richmond is the Instagram. CobezRichmond.com is the website. Thank you, Melanin. Thank you, Allegra. Thank you, Shine Low. Thank you, Tech. Thank you, Seven Kiyamo. Thank you, everyone who joined, everyone who asked questions. Sharam, Skinner, Blue Sky Consultant. I'll be contacting you today. Thank you, guys. Thank you.